Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So welcome to Dynamic Foundry Group. Today we are going to have 100th online session from Dynamic Foundry Group since the lockdown has started. That is our first webinar was on 31st of March 2020 when lockdown was started. And after that in 9 months, we have completed 99 webinar and this is 100th online session organized by a Dynamic Foundry Group. So today's topic is improving mail shop control and cost reduction by mail shop operation digital platform by RGU. I think it's very high time to have this topic because all of you knowing that the raw material prices are being hiking like anything. Even alloys cost has been also increased almost by 10 to 15%, and it's time that we can wait for customer to give that price revision. To sustain in that mid time, we have to control our cost, and this is the way we can control our cost by using some digital way by taking an positive and we can say a systematic approach towards the mail shop operations, and in that way it will helping us to get some cost reduction not only for this critical situation but for long time as well. So for a long term action also this will be very helpful to us. So I request Mr. Christian Kilbuck sir to start off his presentation.
Yeah, Sandeep, thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor and a privilege to be the 100th webinar at DFG, Dynamic Foundry Group. We had quite a few webinars in the past couple of months, and I must also commend you on the activities very much. Um, Highly appreciated. Thank you once again, and everybody welcome to today's webinar, talking about improving melt shop control and cost reduction by digitalization of melt shop operations. We have today two sessions. First of all, it is myself for about 15-20 minutes, a short introduction into the topic, and followed by a session by my colleague, Mr. Darshan Thakur, our expert in our melting software solution. And he is located with FRP and Consulting Private Limited in India, in Vadodara, and he will take care of guiding you through everything. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the topic today is about innovation and digitalization. And we always talked about this Foundry 4.0 in the past months and years. So it's more about understanding what is that, why should I do this, and how do I do it, when and where do I start. And when we look back a little bit from the historical point of view, some of you will probably remember in the 60s and 70s, it was about labor and skills. Then in the 80s and 90s, it was about capital and technology. Especially in the 90s, we had this dot-com bubble. Some of you may remember. Then after the millennia change, we talked about knowledge and innovation. But very recently, the last 1-2 years, more and more about digitalization is seems to be on the agenda. And yeah, certainly COVID has accelerated that one as well. So it's all about the data and even more data we have to collect and how do we process this data. So we see a lot of new emerging technologies and they bring in new perspectives. And we see very much see sustainable growth in areas where innovation and digitalization prevails. Today we want to have a short introduction about our solution. How do we do it? The melt shop as a core area in the foundry in the steel mill. We look into our FRP melt software. It's a short walkthrough, talk about transparency, and at the end also benefits and some conclusion. Quick introduction of our company for those who haven't heard about us before. We are an IT company based in Germany, Dortmund, Germany, highly specialized. Since January 2017, we are also operating in Asia Pacific via Singapore. Yeah, and since October last year, a little bit more than a year now, we are also directly available in India via Foundry Resource Planning and Consulting Private Limited. And it's all about understanding digitalization. It's all about understanding in this very heavy industry, foundry, casting, forging, some steel mills, even smelters. How do we bring these new technologies in an integrated way into an environment that can be sometimes very hostile? We always talk about dirty, dangerous, and difficult. We want to make it digital, dynamic, and different. Short introduction about, again, our product and services. We understand ourselves first of all as a consulting company. That's why our company in India is called Foundry Resource Planning and Consulting. We have two major software versions. One is our FRP Base, it's a starting solution, and one is our FRP Compact, it's our standard solution. Yeah, and actually what we are really doing, we are having a so-called digital twin approach. Digital twin means we are digitally uh, digitally replicating the process of production planning and controlling as a manufacturing execution system. We, of course, speak the Foundry language, and we believe software and consulting is the success you deserve. In addition to all that, we have a special software system that allows us to control the melt shop. So here we have introduced that during the IFX 2020, so just about a year ago almost. Unfortunately, due to the COVID situation, things got a little bit delayed, but now we are more and more seeing customers being very interested in this one and also adopting to our melt, which has become a clear standard in the industry. Now, some or maybe many of you may ask, why should I do this? Why should I actually take a software? I can do this via Excel or others. Let me give you the answer in 5 minutes time. So the reason is there's really a reason behind this, and this reason we want to have everybody to understand very, very well. A quick look into the background where this whole solution comes from. Apparently, there's a long-standing innovative development behind this. This innovative development, we are, of course, in a position to showcase. And then back in 2010, when RGU took over the IP from the previous developer, it was fully integrated into the FRP system. And today, FRP Melt can be a standalone solution, but can be completely integrated in our system as well. Yeah, we're looking into very extensive practical experience and references for the Melt shop. We have a very modern software design and architecture with easy graphical user interface. So there's no IT skills required. The architecture is very unified for platform handling. It's very flexible and scalable. Can we start with just one user? Can be many added. We have standardized reporting, a continuous data concept, yeah, and many, many other items like with advanced material data, and all that can be integrated into the whole test planning and casting and melting process itself. A quick rundown, what makes this casting so special? Apparently, there are many processes and there are many areas. So we look into geometries, we look into casting methods and into materials. But don't be fooled. The casting process is actually the only shaping process where a product is shaped from a liquid. So you have to melt something, you have to bring it into a liquid shape before you make a solid or an actual product out of it. Now, look, talking about liquid, it has to be, we have to look into the melt shop, of course. So how do we make a melt? And yes, my colleague, Mr. Darshan, will go into more details about this one. But generally what you need is, of course, charge materials, grade specifications, melting facilities, alloying material. You do your charge calculation, if you are lucky, maybe on an Excel sheet, and then a chemical analysis via a spectrometer. But how to really make a melt correct with the right specification is very often a company secret. And we believe when we bring this secret into a database, it is much better protected and, of course, much better handled. So we have to talk about workflows, understanding how do we actually create a melt. And once we know that, and when this know-how is really manifested via many, many reports and many, many data, then we have a systematic melt shop control with clear options for cost savings. Talking about workflows, it's of course an understanding of how does a melt travel in a foundry, for example, from an induction furnace or an arc furnace via a converter or not via a converter to a molding station. It could look like this, or maybe another typical application. You have a cupola furnace, maybe a top pot type furnace, and then you have a holding furnace. It could crisscross among each other until the molding line is reached, or it could be very centralized that everything goes into a holding furnace from there onwards to the molding line. So again, understanding these kind of workflows means understanding the linking of continuous and discontinuous processes. And when we do that, we have, of course, at the center of everything, our FRP melt shop control software that allows us to look into the melting process itself. So we need to understand making up the composition batching. We need to understand melting and treatment. We need to understand the actual process of pouring, then the final heat treatment, and that was a notch too fast, final heat treatment and annealing. So all these things are then really the process step that derive the material properties. So the current situation, Sandeep was just mentioning it, yeah, considerable fluctuation in material prices. That is something we need to look at. We have increased energy costs, also that's happening. We have a growing pricing pressure, no matter what, there's always a pricing pressure. And we feel that many foundries, ironworks, steelworks, and metalworks, the IT support for the actual melting process or in the melt shop is, in contrast to any other areas, still a long way from achieving its full potential. So for us, we can see COVID-19 act as an accelerator, and the FRP melt software is now in a position to provide you here with melt process planning. Then, of course, the complete accurate charge composition, post-charge composition. My colleague, Mr. Darshan, will talk about this very much in detail. And preliminary costing. That's also part of the job. Now, when we do all that, that means we bring things in terms of a structure of a material database. Do not get confused about the complexity. It's actually very straightforward. And when we have this database established, then the material database becomes the melt shop core know-how center, fully documented to prevent legacy issues. We will, of course, talk again about workflows. Again, Mr. Darshan will do that. He will also show you a little bit more about what the software is all about. Here, a sneak preview very quickly. He will go into the details. We talk about target chart, the digital twin approach. Yes, that's very important. Then we have an understanding of the areas we are working in. We are looking into focusing on the detail of the furnaces, the melting facilities. All these things will be showcased to you. Then, of course, the charge material calculation example will be done. He will show that as well. Then comes a charge composition printout, the charging list itself. And after that, we look into spectrometer integration, digitally or manually. And then comes the post-charge calculation, understanding how do we realloy, how do we find out to improve on our melting itself, and how do we actually help the person on the melting furnace to do the job correctly. All that will be manifested in one or many so-called melting reports. And yeah, and it's all about the data behind that and how many times do we have this documented. And when we have done that one, we are in a position to look into more details in terms of online information, dashboarding, and the like. Again, Mr. Darshan will give you some details. And when you have such data available on a daily basis, you understand what material usage melt have I produced. You will identify cost drivers, you will identify areas of problems, and you are in a position through databases or established databases to improve your overall operation. Logistics can be integrated, it's also part of the job, and ultimately even corporate software solutions when the FRP melt solution worked as an MES system in the melting shop, uploading data to corporate software. So I want to come back to our question. So why should we actually really do this? Apparently, there is even more questions behind that, and these more questions we need to address one by one and one after the other. And what we do here is we now look into asking what and where can I improve? I need the data. How efficient is my process? I need the data. And so on. Is my time and energy consumed recorded? I need data. How many times do I have a reject charge? I need the data. And did I achieve every time I make a melt or heat the result correctly? As I said earlier, The melt shop is the least explored digital area, so big data means for us here big money. Many times, however, companies operate like this. They have a piece of paper, they write it down into a log sheet, but what happens to that? Nothing. Very often, absolutely nothing. So if we are creating a database, then you can calculate faster the end result. You have time savings. You can secure better the melt quality, less material. You ensure melt recipe is preserved, consistency. Time is money in the melt shop. Any minute not powered, time is saved. What if scenarios can be done? Material improvements can be implemented. All of the above, and of course much more, leads then to dollar and material improvements. If the material management is part of the job, it could look like this. You can see here an example of a foundry. How do they have nicely stored all the raw materials, the ferroalloys, the scraps into different boxes? It must not be like that, but this is just food for thought. Last but not least, we are looking here also into process reliability, planning reliability, and cost transparency. And yeah, we are looking into an overall potential of 30%, of which most of our clients say an average of 16% is achievable. That this is not a fantasy number. Let me give you one example from a foundry in Europe, where we have a picture. Let me just coming here. Sorry, that was a little too fast. One too fast. So here we go. It's a jobbing foundry. And what do they have? They have here a logging system, but they also have the melt solution. And it is very much here achievable that they went down with 21% power cost down. Definitely something to consider. Yeah. We want to, of course, invite you. And the digitalization of melt shop operations and other Foundry 4.0 steps are very much available in India from FRP Consulting in Vadodara. Please be in touch under the email you can see here, info@FRP Consulting. It is our objective that we, of course, help the industry to go from dirty, dangerous, difficult to digital, dynamic, and different. And when we do that, we definitely want to support everybody here in the industry to achieve that. And with this, I'd like to thank everybody for your attention. I hope this gives you a little bit some food for thought. And again, we are available under these emails and contact numbers. You can also then have later on the PowerPoint presentation if you send us an email. And we will also have a video of this presentation later on via Mr. Sandeep and the YouTube channel. Okay, I stop here.
Thank you, Christian. I just want to share one experience when you are giving your presentation and showing the slides. I've been showing a slide of log sheet paper and pen.
Yes.
I just remember when your visit to our foundry, and I feel it was a very important visit for ourselves, because on that day you asked our managing director regarding how you record your melting records, and then he put up a heap of papers in front of you. I think
Yes.
you also remembering it.
Yes.
After that, you asked him to take any 10 days record and give me a carbon average and within 5 minutes. So it was not possible, because to gather the data and calculate it, it was not possible in even 1 hour also. So he took a positive way of that. And on the same day, from the night shift, we have started transforming that paper and pen log sheet into Excel sheet. And now we are working on ERP, because we can able to take ERP, because our people got good hand in computer, good hand in Excel, and then we can able to shift to ERP. So all credit goes to you. And I think that digitalization has helped us a lot. That ERP system is given a huge impact to our process control and costing and overall, we can say, growth of the organization. So thank you very much for that particular support. If you have not been there, I think still we are working on maybe on paper Excel.
Yeah, so, thank you very much, Sandeep.
And that is why I remember that. And I think this is why digitalization is very important.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sandeep. Highly appreciate it. And yeah, definitely, I I hope my visit was, or my comments were helpful. Unfortunately, you have not decided for the FRP system,
Yeah, it
but
was not.
there's still a second chance maybe in the future. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would like to hand over now to my colleague, Mr.
Yes.
Darshan, who is then starting the live digital demo of how FRP works, or how FRP Melt works, and he will show you a little bit more in detail all the tips and tricks. So definitely, this is much, much more than any Excel file could do, because as you know, Sandeep, in Excel, everything has to be done manually. There is no automatism in there. When you work, however, work with integrated systems, things look much, much more different. Yeah, Darshan, where are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we hear you loud and clear. Please share the screen. I'll mute my
Sure.
microphone and
Yep.
we will continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christian. And I would like to thank all of you to having your precious time here. I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah, we can see it. It's all good.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
So,
Yeah. Please go ahead. You're loud and clear, audible. So,
okay.
and screen can be seen. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Sandeep sir, for having us here. So, like CK said, we have to move on, to digital world, to digitalize, to meet our expectation for the foundry as for the other industries as well. So we FRP have a wide range of product for the foundry industries, particularly all over the world. And now we are stepping forward to in form of FRP melt to make the melting shop, particularly the melting shop in a digital way. So we have for that we have this FRP melt product in market. We just launched this in last GIFA. So now it is available here in Asia and here in India as well. So basically foundry and particularly the melting shop, it's considered as a very much cost intensive area in terms of material, in terms of energy, and in terms of manpower as well. So uh, 60 to 70 percentage of total cost of foundry is likely to be having the melting shop, but most of the foundry are not recognizing it. So that's why we have to manage our melt shop as well. So for that we have this very special product, FRP belt. And today in my presentation we will discuss this technical presentation of FRP melt and its working. So basically my presentation is divided into three categories. First we will see FRP melt introduction, what exactly FRP melt is that. Then secondly we will compare the actual working of FRP melt with the actual process we having in the melting shop. Then at the end I will show you the live demonstration of FRP melt, how exactly it's working in different status, in different levels. Let me introduce myself before proceeding. Myself, Darshan Thakkar. I have completed my Bachelor of Engineering in Metallurgy and Material Science from Maharaja Sahaji University, Vadodara. I'm presently working as a consultant at a Foundry Resource Planning and Consulting Private Limited. Before that, I was working in a different foundries as a melting shop in charge, melting shop manager as well, since last 6 years. So here we have the FRP melt. So first of all, let me introduce what is FRP melt. So you can say FRP melt is one of its own kind of melt shop. So you will have all the features, all the modules, like whatever we have in the in actual melting, all the modules, all the process we have in single FRP melt. So it is one of its kind of own melting shop, which is ultimately the digital twin of your whole melting shop. So whatever the process you are doing in the actual melting shop, whatever the different stages you have in the melting shop, all the levels, all the stages we also having in the melting shop in a digital way, so that you can uh, say that your whole melting shop is digitalized by the FRP melt. So what it can do, so basically it's working precisely to maintain the proper proportion of alloying metals during the alloying processes. It also do the precise pre and post calculations with material requirement, considering all the scrap alloy components and the metals. We'll see in a minute that how exactly it's working and how exactly it's giving us the result. It also provide strong traceability by recording all the process steps, all the chemical analysis we have, and all the consumption of the materials in the melting reports. It also reduces the melt time by displaying the process instruction, energy requirements there, chemical analysis, etc., which eventually reduce the charge preparation cost. And one of the main advantage of FRP melt we have, like it can be part of FRP integrated system, which we have the FRP compact as well as FRP base. So it can be part of FRP integrated system, or it can work as a standalone system. So for FRP melt, you don't need to have FRP compact and FRP base. You can also use FRP melt as a standalone system. So you all are aware, like how any alloy is made in any melting shop. So for making an alloy, we must have different charge materials as well as different alloying materials. So by considering its chemical composition, its availability, suitability, we will do the charge calculation by considering, by having the grade specifications, particular grade specification. So we have a grade in our mind, then we do the charge calculation on the basis of the materials, on the properties we have. And after having the charge makeup, we will start the melting. So ultimately the melting will be start, and then after certain time of period we will check the chemical analysis. So if the chemical analysis is good to go within the range, then we simply do the tapping, and after pouring, after uh, at the end of the pouring, we have our grade, we have the casting. So that is how alloy is made in FRP, in a melting shop. So similarly, in FRP melt, we have the same workflow, we have the same process flow. We are not doing different from the routine process, but we also follow the same procedure. So basically, the process will start with the charge calculation of the optimal charge. So initially, we have the work order. On the basis of the work order, we will do the planning that on which day we want to do the heat, and how many heats we need to take. So all the things we plan, and we have all the materials, alloying materials, charge materials, and all the technical regulations will there. So based upon that, the FRP melt will do the calculation, will do the planning. So calculation of the charge makeup will be there by considering charge materials availability and the suitability there. So we have the charge calculation now, we have the charge makeup there. Also we can have the printout of the charge calculation. We will see that how exactly this printout is look like. Then after having the charge calculation, we start the melting. So we started the melting. After certain time of period, we need to do the molten metal, which is nothing but the bath treatment. So in the bath treatment, we will take the sample from the furnace, and then we'll check in the spectrometer. So there always be only two possibilities, like whether your chemical analysis is within the range or not. So in case of analysis is within the range, we simply do the tapping. Then material consumption will automatically book in the melting report. Then at the end, we have the melting report. But if suppose your analysis is not within the range, then we must have to do the post charge calculation to reach our target analysis. So that is also a part of FRP, that we will do the post charge calculation to meet our required target analysis there. Then after that, we also have the charge composition list, and then ultimately we'll do the tapping. Material consumption, similarly material consumption will be booked, and at the end we have this melting report for each heat. So that is the workflow, that is the way of working of FRP melt as well. Let me give you the overview what we have in the FRP melt. So these all are the special features of FRP melt. Like we have the alloy, then we have the melt materials, melting facilities, charge calculation is there, melting report, spectrometer integration is there, post charge calculation, material management is also there, online information will be there, dashboard, customized dashboard will also available. So these all are the special features we have of FRP melt. Let us see one by one in detail. So this is the screenshot of actual program, what it looks like. So this is the program of alloy. So here we need to define the master data of alloy. So what we having here, like on the left hand side, you will find the unique ID number for the individual alloy will be there, which is automatically generated by the program. So unique ID will always be there. On the left hand side, you will find the designation and the test plans for the per standard. So for single alloy, there might be different standard available all over the worldwide. So you can define which standard is available here, which standard is linked with this particular alloy. So there are also possible to link that. Then also we have on the center portion different alloy parameters you can set. So what is the tensile strength, liquidus temperature? So all the information will be saved for this particular alloy. And on the left hand side bottom, you will find the formulas. So even if you have the formulas for the spatial calculation, like for an example, in some of the steel, there may be, let's say, carbon is 2 times higher than the silicon or something else. So if there that kind of situation is there, you can also create formula by your own, and you can link that formula in the calculation. We will see where to link and how that can be used, but that is a possibility. Then on the center portion, um, we have this target analysis grid with default pre and post calculation. So you need to define that what are the limits you have for each and every elements for the ones, and then your master data for the master analysis for this particular alloy will be stored, and this analysis will now be considered in the charge calculation program to calculate the requirement of this particular analysis for the particular alloy. Then we have the target charge. So here you will find the target charge, which is like the resource plan. So we have the resource plan in our FRP solution, which is a specially designed for the foundry. Similarly, we also have the resource plan here, which ultimately define here the materials which are going to use to making the single alloy. So here you need to define which material you are going to use, and you can also define in which particular quantity, exact quantity you are going to use the individual materials. So this will be your plan analysis, plan resource plan, plan charge for the particular alloy. So list of material will be there, and this list of material will be in the charge calculation. Among them, you can do the different calculation. You can add many more other materials. So you just need to define your resource plan here. Then we have the melt materials, which is nothing but the master data of the melt materials. So for making one single alloy, you might require 5 or 6 different materials or more than that. So for creating that 6 materials, here we have the program where you can define the many more parameters of single materials. So here, let's say for an example, we have the scrap as a material, as a charge material. So raw material ID will be there. You can define by your what is the description of that particular material. Raw material ID will be defined by the program. And also here the raw material prices you can define at which price you are purchasing that particular materials. You just need to define here, and you can also add the different prices, different handling price for that particular material. So that price will ultimately be take into consideration when we do the charge calculation. So that is there. And also here on the left hand side you will find the required target analysis of the raw material. So what analysis, what range should be there, you can define here in the material. And then accordingly here on the right hand side you will find the actual analysis of the material whenever it's come to your inventory. So if you have the spectrometer, the result will directly here, and you can easily compare that what is your desired analysis and what actually came. So we can easily compare the result of the actual analysis. Then also on the center portion we have the different parameters which eventually used for the generic calculation, and also in the melting report. So there are many more fields, many more factors we need to define for the materials, at how exactly we want to use that particular material. So let's say for an example, here we have the charge role. So what the role of this material here, the charge is there. Then also the melting loss factor, you can also define uh, what is the present melting loss of this particular material, so that all things will be considered in the calculation. So that is how you can create the number of materials you have, number of database you can create for materials. Then we also have the melting facilities. Like here basically we need to define, we need to create which kind of melting facilities you have. So here melting fun, if you have the furnace, so melting furnace description will be there, unique number will be provided, description you can enter by yourself, different furnace parameters you can select from the list of values. Then also different deep details, like what was the manufacturing date, when you actually do the implementation of the furnace, and all the things. So this all the informations you can put in one single place, so that you can use it in future. Then also you need to define the furnace capacity. So what exactly size of furnace you have, what is the maximum quantity you can produce from that furnace, what should be the minimum quantity you need to put in the furnace. So that all things you can define from here. Then after having all the data, all the details of your alloy, of your materials, now we comes to the charge material calculation program. So the core part of FRP melt is this charge calculation. And this charge calculation will be optimized by the FRP melt. So here on the left hand side you can see easily, we will see in the program directly. Let me brief you before that. So here a quick calculation program will do the very quick calculation to achieve your target quantity. So here you can define the different target quantities you have. Let's say for an example, you want to do the charge calculation for your 1 ton furnace. So here you need to enter 1 kg. If your furnace have size of 5 ton kg, so here you need to enter the 5,000, so on. And here also the maximum quantity desired charge mix ratio will be there. So you need to define what kind of charge mix ratio you are using. In some of the foundry they are using 60-40 ratio, 70-30 ratio. So accordingly you can define by your ways what exactly you want to use. Then also here you will find the price comparison. So alloy cost will directly come from the resource plan, where you define your list of materials as well as with the quantity. So that would be your plan cost. Then here in the just below the alloy cost you will find the INR current. So this is basically your current cost, what exactly software did the calculation and what is the result of that, that is showing here. So the price you can easily compare what was your plan price and what actually is coming out. So you can easily do the comparison, that which material you should use, or which material you shouldn't use. Then also on the left hand side you will find the different list of material, which is nothing but your materials with the available quantities is there, and also the calculated quantity by the program you will find here, and you can also manually change. We'll see in the software as well. Then on the just right hand side of it, actual price per kg of all materials will be there as per the stock receipt. So whatever the price you have entered in the master data, that price will be come up here, and according to that your price will ultimately shown up here. You can also change this price from here, and you can also see the difference in future. So that is also special functionality we have. Then also on the right hand side you will find the target value and the calculated value. So your target value you define in the master data, and what is now current we have calculated value as a calculated value, it will shown up here. So you can easily compare, you can easily change, and you can do many more thing in the calculation, that how exactly you want to use. There are different options available for calculating a standard composition, also for the evaluating the material cost for a alloy, as well as for the each batch. You will see in the demo. At the end of charge calculation, we have this standard printout. So in that you will find all the details, like what was the target kg there, what was the maximum capacity, what was the net value you are having after deducting all kind of losses you have. Also on the right hand side you can easily check that what was your desired scrap mix ratio. So what, how many percentage you use scrap, what was the circuit percentage, and all the thing. Also here on the center part you will find the target analysis, as well as the list of material along with the analysis of individual materials. So there are deep details you will find in a single printout only for the charge calculation. And also we have the charging list, where you can find the quantity with material description with the storage location. So this is also possible to have this kind of list prior to your melting, so that you can pass this list to any of the worker, and they can accumulate all those things right before the melting. So things will be faster than the usual thing we are doing. So all the materials where is there with storage location, with quantity, so you don't need to write it down all the time. You just need to do the print, and you will have this printout. Let's go to the FRP melt. I will directly show you the live demonstration. So here we are seeing the FRP melt solution with integrated system of FRP complex. So here you can also have this melt as a standalone. So let me quickly show you. Here I put some shortcuts for my routine use. So here we have the charge calculation program. So here I'm creating the new charge calculation. So I just need to enter for which alloy, for which alloy ID I need to do the calculation. So I'm entering my internal number, whatever I have created. So I just need to enter the number here, and you can find within a second on the left hand side bottom, you will find the list of material among which the program will do the calculation, and it will give you the best suitable optimized charge out of this all the material. And also just after that you will have this available inventory. So it's according to your consumption at the end of your melting report, how much material is left. Based upon that, available inventory will be shown up here. You can easily check it from here, that how much material is available for this let's say for the pig iron, for the copper, and so on. So that will be there. And also on the right hand side you will find the chemical analysis of the alloy, and how different materials, different elements value will be there. So let's say for example carbon is there, carbon should be in 0. 0.03 to 0.07, and your target value is 0.05. So as per your target value for all the materials, program will do the calculation and program will try to reach as close to your target. And also on the top side, you will find your plant cost. So right now it's showing 220.4 rupees per kg. So I just need to define here for how much quantity I want to do the calculation. Let's say for an example, I want to calculation for the 2 ton. So I just need to enter here to 2000 kg, and I just need to press the calculation, and you will see within 1 or 2 seconds, program did the background calculation by considering all the data we input there, and it show us that we should use this return material 842 kg, pig iron 724 kg, and so on, to have 2 ton of our target, and at the price of 188 rupees per kg. So that is how we program did the calculation, and you can easily see here your plant cost was 222 rupees, but when you enter all the details of each and every materials, and by considering the analysis of it, by considering the availability of it, FRP melt did the calculation in the background, and it's showing like after using this much of material, you will only cost 188.1 rupees per kg. So you can easily compare that which material you should use and which material you should use less. So let's say for an example, it is suggested by the program, but let's say you don't want to use 842. Instead of 842, you only want to use 700. So you can easily edit here, change it the value from 840 to 700, and now you will see here, as soon as I press enter, you can see here from 188 to price will be changed, and also the analysis will also be affected because I'm less my material. So let's say instead of 700 I want to 840, I want to use 700. So you can see price is changing from 188 to 193 because I'm using the material which having the low price. Now I need to use the other material because I'm restricting this material, the use of this material. Now I need to press the calculate again, and you will find that okay, I restricted this material to be used only 700, and now program did the again new calculation, and now I need to use this material more to compensate the use of this material. So now 2 ton will be my net quantity. My price is now increased by let's say for example 10 rupees. Yeah, so 198 is the new price, analysis will be there, and so on. So that is how this calculation is working. Also here we have the functionality like infinite quantities allowed. So if suppose you don't have material in your list or in your inventory, and although you want to do the calculation, so you can use this functionality to calculate with consideration of your inventory or without consideration of your inventory. It's up to you. So that is how you can do the calculation as well. And also here right beside this analysis we have the formulas. So different formulas you can it already attached here if you create in the background. So first you need to prepare the formula, then you can attach as many as formula you want to use. So that is how this calculation program is working. Also here you can use the different set points. We also have the see basically this charge calculation program is much in detail. So there are lots of possible way to optimize your charge calculation. It is up to you that how exactly you want to use uh, the analysis, you want to use the calculation. Let's say for an example here, our target value of chromium is 18, but let's say I don't want to use, or I don't want to calculate up to my target value. I just want to calculate within the range. So here I just need to select this set points, and here right now calculated value is 18, but let's say I'm pressing the calculate, and you will find here now it's showing me 14 because I give the different command. So it is up to you. And also you can see the price is changed here from 198, now it is 190. So just like Christian said, what if scenario is possible here, you see. So what if happen if I use this material, what is happen if I use I use this material. Also here you can directly change the price. Let's say after 2 days of this pig iron, price will be 45. So you can simply enter the 45 and you can easily calculate. So now program will consider this price in this particular calculation, and it will show you, okay, if we are using this pig iron at 45 rupees per kg, your price would be 194 rupees 0.8 per kg of your liquid melt. So that is how this charge calculation program is working. After charge calculation, we have this melting report program. So basically, the charge calculation program was is generally used by the management who can do the different planning, different charge planning, and all the thing. So and after that, ultimately, the person who is actually working on the shop floor, they need to use that material, that calculation. Sometimes it happens like whatever the committee decided to use the materials, so that material could not be possible in on actual shop floor. So at that time, we or the person who is actually handling the shop floor, they need to do the calculation, they need to do the new charge calculation right on the shop floor. So here in the melting report program, we also have that possibility that person can use that calculation, but they can edit or remove any of the material from the list. So here we also have the functionality to use the new calculation. The melting report is basically the program in which you need to enter your entire process, entire melting process details. And similarly, we also have the different status, different levels in this melting report. Like uh, in the melting, initially we do the charging, the basic charging, then we do the uh, then we start the melting, then we have the bath ready, so we'll take the spectrometer analysis. So analysis collection will be there, then we do the post charge calculation, the realloying, then we do the tapping. So all these levels, all this status we also maintain here in the melting report, and it will automatically change by step by the progress you are doing. So different process trigger buttons will always be there, which ultimately help the melting shop person to use the program, to understand the program. And on the left hand side bottom, you will find the same calculation we prepared in the charge calculation. You can always have the possibility to do the recalculation again here if any uncertain thing was found. Then also the charge will be there. Right hand side, you will find the target chemical analysis for the of the melt, for the alloy is there. So basically, what we will have in this melting report, let me brief you one by one. Just like I said, it includes the charge calculation required on the shop floor. So person, you can easily do the charge calculation. Then also the automatically booking of consumption of the melting material use. So we just see a minute ago in the charge material calculation, there is a column which showing you the available inventory. So that available inventory will automatically update it whenever you are using this melting report. And at the end of the melting report, all the materials whatever you have used, it's considered as a consumed material and automatically deducted from your stock. So actual exact stock will be there. You can easily check it out whether this material available or not. It also record the number of hits per lining, so you don't need to bother after doing the new lining that how much exactly hit is there. Sometimes many people don't know that how many hits is actually being taken out from the new lining. So that also functionality we have, that we can also record the number of hits per lining. Actual bath analysis with and without spectrometer integration. So we also have the possibility to integrate the spectrometer with FRP melt. So you will have the actual bath analysis with and without the spectrometer. Post charge calculation, one of the my favorite functionality of this program, post charge calculation. It will do in a very quick way. We will see in a minute that post charge calculation on the shop floor, record of energy consumption per heat. So how much kilowatt hour is being consumed for one heat, you can enter manually. So program will also record that energy consumption reading. Just like I said, spectrometer integration. So we have the facility to integrate your spectrometer with our FRP melt to for the fast process. So bath analysis. So basically, here I prepare one scenario which showing you before post charge calculation. So on the left hand side, on the box, you will find there is a no value is there. So it is basically a scenario like you one took the sample from the bath and uh, do the spectrometer. So now it show the spectrometer is showing that some of the your element is depletion by your target value. So here in this example, we have the silicon 1, value of silicon is 1, and value of chromium is 13 and nickel is 13, but we have the target value is 1.4. So there are some your analysis is lagging by some values or maybe exceeding by some values. So in that case, initially you will find no values here, but after you did the post charge calculation, you will find some calculated value along with the material here. So after adding this much of material, your analysis will be within the range, and you will have your end result as you mentioned in your master data. So we'll see the live demo as well. Let me show you this scenario again. So here we are in the melting report. I just need to open the melting report. So here I already prepared one case. So here let me show you, before I'm showing you post charge calculation, let me show you the different status or levels we have. You see we have the different status, like first is the start level, then we have the charge calculation as well, then we have the melting, start of the melting will be there, melt treatment, which is nothing but your bath analysis will be there. After taking your bath analysis, here we have the charge analysis correction is there, then we have the completion, open completion book. So all the levels we have, which automatically change by itself, program will change all the things when you are proceeding. So here one scenario is there. What I did, like I took one sample from the melt and I checked in the spectrum. Now what is showing me, my definite range of silicon is 1.3 to 1.5 and my target value was 1.4. Same as in case of chromium, my range is 14 to 20 and my target value is 18. But what is showing me, like silicon is 1%, which is way below my minimum requirement. Same as for the chromium is showing 12, which is also way below my minimum requirement. And for the nickel, it's showing me 12.5, which is beyond my maximum limits. So it is clearly seen that my analysis is not within the range. So what I need to do, I will do the post charge calculation. So realloy is there. I will just press the realloy button, and here you will find the status will automatically change once you proceed. So an adjustment calculation will be there. And now here you can see that On the left hand side, we have all the list of material which we defined in the master data. All the materials will be there. You can also add any other material you wanted to add here. It is that is possible. And on the right hand side, you will see like silicon value is lagging by 0.3 percentage, minus you showing below your minimum limit. Also for the chromium -2, which is 12, which is 2 points less than your minimum. And also for the nickel, it's showing plus 0.5, which is 0.5 higher than your maximum limit. So this is the scenario. So what I need to do, I want to balance this chemical analysis. So I will press the calculate button, and you will see within a 1 and 2 second program did the calculation. And now it suggests me to use ferrochromium 37 kg, ferrosilicon 5.97 kg. You can also change value from here, no problem there. And also you can use the ferroniobium 5 kg. So after using this much of material, your analysis will automatically uh, in the range. Now calculated value is showing 1.3. Okay, it's fine, so it is within my range. My chromium value is 14, so it is also within the range. Nickel is showing 11.9, so it is also within the range. So within a second, program did the calculation and it's showing you the results. So that is how you can do the post charge calculation. Now when I use that material, so here on this box you will find the materials which you already used in the main in the before the post charge calculation. So it will be listed here, and this material will automatically deducted from the your stock. So that is how this melt report will work. And at the end of this melt report, and on the left hand side bottom, there is a grid which is energy. So your previous reading, previous kilowatt hour will automatically come from your previous report. You just need to enter the new report. So no manipulation of your reading will be there. You will have the crystal clear result of each and every melt report will be there. So that is how this post charge calculation is work. And at the end of the melting report, you will have this kind of standard printout. So this printout will have all the essential information like what was your target, what was your net weight, gross weight, and also the kilowatt hour. So kilowatt hour per ton will be there. Total kilowatt hour consumed will also be there. On the left hand side, you will find all the list of material consumed by uh, each heat, by each melting report. And also on the right hand side, you will find all the melting process stage. So at which time where you were, like 10:40 you start your melting, 10:50 the materials grade is there, you took one analysis, and sampling spectrometer. So each and every detail for each and every heat will be there. So you can easily compare, you can easily take it out any of the data, any of the last year's report, last 10 years report, and so on. Then we also have the material management. So basically this material management program is supporting the FRP melt to manage all the melt materials inventories inside the organization. Basically materials management and cost optimized applications in the melting shop are really become more and more significant as a factor of success. For a particular FRP, high performance software solutions for the melting shop are part of their development strategy. So in this material management, we'll have this stock entry program which you eventually use for the every purchase material. You can record all the analysis, all each and every analysis for each and every inventory as well. Supplier master data will be there with all required details of suppliers, price sheet and purchase order. You can easily print out the purchase order of your melt materials. material usage will automatically booked of all melt materials per heat per melt report. Inventory card will be there for material for each and every material, so that you can check or trace all the history of that particular material. Then we also have the online information. In the online information, you will find the overview of melting reports. So let's say, for example, if you have 100 melting reports, so you just uh, check it out in this online info. You can easily apply filters from which date up to which date you want to know how much melting report you have, how much heat you have, what was the consumption for each and every heat, what was the tapping quantity, and so on. So that is the overview of melt reports will be there. Same as we also have the overview of charge calculation. So how many charge calculation you did, there are number of way of doing charge calculation, number of possibility to store the charge calculation as a standard calculation, also as a pre-calculation, batch calculation, so on. So you can easily do the overview of your charge calculations. Then we also have, and I think this is one of the main points we have, in some of the foundry, you might notice like in the charge calculation, they took or they consider all the materials, like they have 10 different materials and they are considering the value of all that 10 materials and so on. Okay, so now at the end they say, okay, 188 rupees per kg, it's my final price. But let's say we add all that material and by chance we need to do the post charge calculation. So, and suppose we need to add 10 kg more material or 12 kg more material, so that 10 or 12 kg, it's also part of your costing. So whenever you do the post charge calculation, whatever the material you will be add, all the value of that material will be put here in this list, and you will have at the end of the melting report the final value of your cost. So earlier, let's say it was 188, but after having the post-charge calculation, the material, the alloy cost will be 221 rupees per kg. So that clear cut transparency in the cost you will find there. Also, we have the customized dashboard, so you can have just like Mr. Sandeep was saying, like they were unable to find out the record of 10 previous 10 days record, what was the average percentage of carbon use. So that scenario is possible here, like you just need to apply the filter and you will have all the details with your fingertips. So customized dashboard will be there, how much material you have used, what was your previous use of material, what was the previous price of material, what was the previous inventory, what is the current scenario, what is the current status, and so on. So that thing you will definitely find. So always question will come that why should we have FRP melt? So first of all, strong benefits we have like recording and documentation, recording and documentation of all process steps, as well as all each and every details, like, so you will never you depleted your accounts, like if someone asks you that what was your what was your let's say how many hits you have in that particular day, so you just need to open the program, open the online info, apply filter, and you will have the result. You don't need to refer your pages and books and files and on so on. Then we also have the inclusion of spectrometer. So integration of spectrometer with FRP melt will be add much more functionality, much more transparency in your process, in your status, and quick realloying will be possible. Then we also have the tracking of your material flow, and generally the material management in the melt shop is a very tough thing to do. So by having this FRP melt, material management will always be there. You can easily track any of your material. Optimization of the melting procedure. So procedure will definitely optimize. So will be resulted. So what we have after optimization of the melting procedure, cheapest charge composition will always be there, reducing realloying elements, no one can say that okay, just add 5 kg, just add 6 kg without knowing how much it actually required, you know. So reduce the realloying, this both thing, the quick calculation will always shorten your melting procedure. And by having these three things, it always and automatically reduce your melting cost. So eventually you will, your cost of melt will reduced. Before ending my presentation, I would must say the modern melt shop management requires state of the art digital solutions. And the FRP melt is not a nice to have solution, but for the melting, for the melt shop, it must have solution. I would like to thank all of you for your attention. You can contact us here, the below email ID. Any question answers we have.
Thank you, Darshan. Thank you very much for your nice presentation. Any questions from the viewers?
Yeah, you can type the questions down into the chat box if you wish to do so. Just one more time, the video, Sandeep, will be uploaded on the 1st of January, you just wrote, right, for this whole seminar, in case somebody wants to view it one more time.
Darshan, I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Just start with that. First question is regarding the, you say the chemistry of the charge mix. Say pig
Yes,
iron is there, MS scrap is there, or runnerizers are there. So how the, we can say MS comes from two different trolleys or two different vehicles or two different suppliers. It may
yes,
consider some MS will be 0.3 percent of carbon, some MS having 0.5% of carbon, some
correct.
having 0.3% of manganese, someone has 0.5% of manganese. So how you can
Yes.
use that variation in your charge calculation?
Yeah, I think that's a good question you asked. Let me show you so that you can easily, just a second. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So, similarly, you asked for the manganese. Similar, I took one example for the silicon.
Yeah.
So, let's say we have the silicon, and just like the other materials, we have the different inventories. Let's say for in one batch, we have the silicon, and the chemical analysis of that silicon is different. And we also have the batch two, which having the different silicon, which having the different analysis, right? So in the stock entry program, we have the possibility to record the analysis of every material for the every inventory. Let's say I here prepare two inventories. So here you can see on the 10th of 10th date, we have the incoming goods of 500 kg, uh, and we have the analysis of this 500 kg is this. Here in the center portion you can find, you can see the silicon is
59%.
59, phosphorus, sulfur and aluminum are there. But let's say here I have the same date, but let's say on this 10
Another.
days later than this, we have the another entry. So here if you click here, so you can see the silicon is now changed from 59 to 61. So here we have the possibility to record for the silicon number of inventories as you wanted to have. And once you open the charge calculation here, you can see slightly here we have the source number 67, source number 47, 46, 47. So this ferrosilicon material is showing twice here. It is basically not twice, but this silicon have two different analyses, you see. So once I click here, let's say 47 is there. In that 47, we have silicon 61 and iron is 39. And in 46, we have silicon 59, phosphorus, sulfur, and all these things there. So it is up to you that how exactly you want to use the analysis. Here we also have the possibility to block the analysis. You see, if once I block this analysis, if let's say suppose my incoming entry was 500 kg, but I use let's say all of them, and if I and for the future I don't want to use this analysis, so we have the possibility to block this analysis, so this analysis will not be show you in the calculation.
So you have to keep the material separately and you have to issue the material separately batch wise. Then only it can be possible. It is a mix.
It
Then,
is,
then you cannot use it or the
yeah, yes sir, it is up, see, it is up to you, like you need to, and I think most of the foundry is having the boxes, like let's say if 1 ton or 2 ton of silicon is coming, they put this box material in that box, so you can easily separate the your incoming materials.
for alloy it is possible. For maybe scrap it is little bit difficult, but still you can use it by keeping it separately and by assuming it as a separate batch. You can calculate it.
Yes,
You are not taking the
yeah,
average. That is what I just want to
no no
understand.
no,
Not taking the average.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay. One more question is regarding the prices. You are considering the prices of average again or batch to batch? Because if you consider say on 10th or 11th and 12th, we have taken three different vehicles from different suppliers. Uh, Composition may be same, but the prices may be different. So how you take the price when you calculate the target price or actual price of the charge? Whether you are
Yeah.
averaging it or you are taking differently.
Yeah. See, basically, we have the functionality. Let me show you the program directly. So we have the functionality in the program where you can define your materials entry along with the prices. So whatever the new prices you are entering, that price will be considering in the calculation. Here, let me show you here directly. Here, let's say silicon is there, and this batch having 60 rupees per kg, and if suppose I having the new batch or from the new supplier, and they are giving me the silicon is 65 rupees per kg, so here whatever the I did the entry when the time of inventory, that price will be shown up here, and that price will be considering in the calculation.
Okay.
Am I clear or?
Yes, yes. Okay. No issue.
Yeah.
One more question is there. I think you already implemented it in so many foundries, maybe. So I just want to understand after implementation of this, what is the percentage of we can say late addition, or whether you have checked that whatever chemical composition you are targeting that is achieved, the percentage of achievement is how many? 100%, 98%, 95%. If such study has been done.
Sandeep, the question is not 100% clear. Can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
you have implemented this software in say 10 foundries, 15 foundries, or 20 foundries. So in those 20 foundries, whether we have studied that after implementing this software or this program, what is the percentage of getting target chemical composition 100%? Whether you're getting it 100% or you have to recalculate it again, or some errors comes or some re-addition comes, or after recalculation also you find the chemical composition is out of specification.
That's actually from foundry to foundry different. There is no generic answer to that one. I cannot say after, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, you have then 100% of charge correctly done. As you know, it all depends always on the incoming material, how you classify that one.
Okay.
And then from there onwards, what do you want to do? So the software, the digital system is very flexible. It can go either way. Uh, it's a good point, by the way, because I think it would be good to study how many foundries have.
Why
Let's say,
I ask this
yeah,
question is there is a specific reason behind it. One is okay, these software or these calculations are pretty good to see, and all these are very excellent way of working. But still, one point remains undoubtable is the entry is done by the person. So the entry is a manual thing.
Absolutely.
It is
Absolutely.
if someone is putting say 60% recovery silicon and he entered 55% silicon in the calculation, then the software will not able to arrest him. So
Yeah,
that is
of
what just
course.
want to understand the even after implementation of software, how much is the success rate, whether the we can say the we can controls and the discipline does follow with the software or it does not follow with the software.
No,
Just I want to understand that, and that is why this I think this we can say a study is important to understand what are the reasons for the we can say failures of the software.
yeah. So I think the the question is actually a little bit wrong, to be very honest. Um, as you know, with anything software, it's always garbage in and garbage out. Of course, if you do something, type
That's
in,
true.
or
Very true. Very true.
if you bring in some stupid data, the data there. So we have a very systematic approach here by implementing this system in a staggered way. We call it level M1, level M2, level M3, and no matter what, we will always start with the level M1, which is a so-called database creation level, and we pay a lot of attention to these that's the data integration tests and understanding that how the individual foundry is handling the, let's say, materials they're using, what is their melting practice, and you will not believe it, but there's a lot of differences. So maybe there are 10 foundries in a row nearby your place. Of course, it's Mahalakshmi and there are others, but the way they are melting and the way they are handling it is in every time very, very individual. So the majority of our customers have great success. Although this I can say, I didn't put a percentage to it, but they have a great success and they follow very strongly, of course, the software because it gives the person in charge of the melting process a much stronger uh, level of doing what we call data-driven decision making. And once you have that level achieved, that can go relatively fast. Uh, you will always look back and say, how did I do it in the past manually? I mean, it's just like you drive in the old drive a modern car today, and in maybe 5 years ago you took the bicycle. So you're always wondering, how did I do it? Apparently you did, but and it's the same here as well. So there is a evolution process where when the implementation starts, that the foundries is of course has to be skeptical. The people have to be skeptical, but once they understand how it works, they will never go back. They will never go back, and the success rate is very, very high, very, very high. Although, if you allow me to on a percentage, we are going into the highest 90%. It can never be 100. That's rubbish.
Yeah,
But
that's sure. That's sure.
but
That's
very
good.
high
That's good.
90s is the standard
Yes, I was asking to
we are aiming for.
understand what are the backbones for that and what are the reasons for the failures, so that we can take care of those failure reasons of failures while implementing. That is what I just want to share with the
Yeah, okay.
people
There's a question on the chat room. It is from a
regarding the
Mr.
display, whether it can be displayed.
Yeah, of course. Now, first of all, Darshan, you can show them where we have the kilowatt hour recorded per batch or per heat. Um, and yes, in the beginning, things are always a little bit by foot, maybe manually, but over a period of time, all these things can be digitally connected one by one and one after the other. So there's never an issue about digitalization connection. A modern furnace has a PLC control, SPC control, sorry, and that can be then linked up. Even old furnaces, an IoT device can help. All these things can be done, and technology has matured very much in that one. So it is never a technical issue to do something. Very often it's an organizational or a mindset issue. So
Uh,
we are
Sik,
very
I have
much
one more thing
yeah.
to understand, that whether it can be possible to have on mobile app or online we can able to see all this data,
Ah, very good, very good. Yeah, we are working on it right now. This is again, it's
because
just
one
it's
more area is normally we see in the foundry and melting specifically, That
Yeah,
the melting supervisor was supposed to be there on the deck of the furnace,
correct,
Yes,
not supposed to be in the spectrometer room or in the production room. So
correct.
if it is on the desktop, then he will spend more time on you can say in front of computer, and will lose his focus from the mail shop on the furnace deck, we can say. So if it is
exactly.
available with the mobile or with the, we can say, like a tab like that, anything like that, then he can able to handle it from his deck itself, and you will be able to, his efficiency will go higher.
Uh, Maybe at the GIFA 2019, that is more than a year ago. Who remembers GIFA 2019? God, so long ago. Meanwhile, we had lots of other things happening. We introduced the RGFRP app in general, and an app is never an issue, Sandeep, and we are working on that one right now as well. The question is always, uh, will that app help you in your daily job to do a better job, or will it is just a means of looking at data from a generic point of view? So there's a there's a dual approach to that one, and as I said earlier just now, app is not the issue. The issue is what you want to do, which data you want to visualize, how you want to visualize it, and so on and so on. As Darshan has shown you, we have already the online info available. Online info
Yes,
is an HTML. HTML is a web browser. And if your server allows you, or if your internal data security system allows you to access your own server from remote, then such a information system can be visualized as well on your mobile phone, of course. Then
No,
you can see
I'm
on your
talking on
mobile phone
mobile
already.
mobile phone for the supervisors on the deck, not outside. Outside may not be much effective, or it will not help
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
Because one more thing I just observed during all this presentation is the 95% of the data is not to be filled by a melting person, because whatever material is inward, what is the prices, what is the chemical composition, what is the target chemical composition for that particular part,
yes,
all this data has to be filled up by somebody else in the office, who is sitting in the office in the day shift. What melting supervisor did has to do is to select the part, then he will find target, we can say, chemical composition, then just he has to enter the, we can say, whatever the scrap he has to add, and check whether that scrap will give him right composition or not, right cost or not. If it is not there, he has to just press a calculate button, and so the work what he has to do is very limited. It is not that much huge work he has to do,
Yeah,
because
it's
the
good that he.
background work has been already done by somebody else for him.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why we are doing it, so that the melt shop supervisor has less headaches.
yeah, because he has lots of thing to do, you know.
So we want to relieve his pain,
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
what happens if the melt or the charge is not good? I mean, it's just like you're cooking a nice soup and the soup is too salty. So what to do? Or the soup is too spicy. That's you need a plan B. So, and that's exactly the point. In the beginning it's all about creating database and ensuring that the melt practice is documented, and the Darshan was nicely highlighting it, documented, and that people understand you have to start in a certain systematic way. Once that is done, the melt shop supervisor can fly rockets. Okay, he can melt better. He has a lot of headaches less. And that's the point. That's really the point. Nothing more and nothing less. And of course, the less manual inputs available or required, the better it is. For example, when you have a spectrometer result, instead of manually keying in the data, no, have the spectrometer digitally connected and have this result immediately transferred to your current calculation, do a realloying or post charge calculation, as we say, and understand immediately within seconds. Oh, I'm off. This is what I need to add.
great. I think this was the concluding remarks I thought, and that is why I keep that question at the end, because to conclude this, I think this is the best platform. This is the best answer that can be given, that why this webinar is there and why this software is required. because of for the
Absolutely.
ease of the melting supervisor and all these things. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your nice presentation and great, we can say, a software and help to the melting team and melting platform to
Sandeep,
improve their
thank you very much.
efficiency.
Sandeep, thank you very much, and the DFG group for having us. We really enjoyed this. Please contact us, info@frpconsulting.in, or
There's
the
one more
telephone.
question. Is there any information or any installation nearby Kolhapur?
No, not
Somebody
yet,
has.
not yet. But
Yeah.
we invite you to become the first one in Kolhapur.
Yes.
We would be very happy. As I said, please contact us. We are more than happy to help you. And this is really, as Nash said, a very must-have situation. Bring your melt shop to databases. Help your melt supervisor do data-driven decision making, and the savings and the returns on it will be very, very strong in a very, very short time. Having said that, one more time, Sandeep, thank you very much for
Thank you,
being
sir.
part of the
Thank you.
family.
Thank you
We
all
will
the
continue.
participants for joining
Yeah,
and
thank you
spending
everybody
your
for being part
valuable
of
time.
the presentation. You know where to contact us. We will share video and the PowerPoint. Happy to do that, and look forward to all of you to see you one way or the other. Most importantly, everybody, please stay safe wherever you
Yeah.
are. I think that's, in this day and age, somehow the
Great.
best greeting we can do.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, and very, very happy New Year 2021.
Yeah. Happy New Year and stay safe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.